it's what, 2 years ago. And you guys look like you are having an amazing time, amazing experience. What else could you ask for? You tell me something about how, God, I get to order so much wine. You get to shape the menu, do what you want. Throw all that away. Why own your own restaurant? Not the idea of like, I need to own something, but what is it that restaurants were missing that you think by opening your own, you can add?
I don't know if it's something that the restaurant community or restaurant food and wine world is missing. It's something that we strive to put back into the restaurant world, which is, a quality of service that has been missing probably in the last 5 or 10 years. We're trying to elevate service and bring that back into the restaurant. So.
Okay, so maybe I'm getting this wrong, but in the past few years we've seen, and possibly I've heard it's because of the recession, we've seen that a lot of places have gone to a more, I don't know if casual is the right word, but you've got a lot of obviously the gastropub scene, and a lot of that, the food is great, very enjoyable, but there haven't been as many, I guess, fine dining openings. Is that what you're trying to recapture?
I think, yeah, absolutely. We're trying to bring that back. It's definitely been lost within the 5-8 years since the recession. We're definitely trying to bring that back to a level of something that's been missing. We want to bring that back to a level that is importance, bringing the food back to where it should be. Definitely the service and wine area back to where it should be. Absolutely.
Well, Michael, you've talked about this. You've talked about how we want to bring it back, but at the same time, we don't want you to be scared of us. So what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by feeling comfortable with fine dining?
Yeah, I think everybody got a little carried away as 2008 kind of blew up on us all. I think I don't even think either one of us like the term fine dining, right? Because if I say,
I'm sorry,
no, it's totally, it's how it goes, right? It's like
what's the
I
word?
went to this fine dining. I'm not really exactly sure. For us, it's not fine dining. For us, it's, pardon my French, but it's giving a shit. We really care, and I think what would really separate our idea of what would be fine dining and what wouldn't be is the difference of doing 250 covers a night and doing 65 that count. That's when we decided to leave and do what we were going to do, everybody's like, you guys have lost your mind. You're going to open up a really high-end restaurant in this economy. And I just said to him a couple of times, I'm like, last time I checked, I still live in the 3rd largest city in the United States of America. Last time I checked, Chicago was a pretty kick-ass city with a darn load of a lot of foodies in it.
Sure.
What do you want me to do? Tell you how awesome Curtis's marinara sauce is and like how we're going to reinvent pasta next week? It's what we have always done is just do 50, 60 covers a night.
And you'll have Groupons, right?
And without question, yeah, absolutely.
You mean groupies?
We just want to care a lot about the people that choose to dine in our restaurant. We want to have an environment where we can say to them, look, there's a lot of restaurants in the city and there's a lot of restaurants in the country, but tonight you chose us, and that means a lot to us. And we want to be able to have the ability to show you how much we appreciate that. And when you're doing 150, 250 covers a night, you lose that opportunity. So is that fine dining?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, then it is. Then I'll leave it alone then. Yeah.
So the place is called Grace. You've talked about why you've named it Grace. It's a lot about elegance.
Which is exhausting.
Yes. Well, I won't ask the question.
Great, thank you.
But what do you see? Is there a personality that you want? What do you want when people walk in the door to when they get the check? What do you want people to feel throughout? Is there a consistency of, I want people to feel this. I want people to think this about the environment, about the food, about the wine.
Go ahead.
No, that's all you should.
Well, you can just spend the next few minutes discussing who's going to answer.
Absolutely. So, it's one of our goals have always been to have an environment or restaurant that is very modern, has a sense of classicism to it, has a sense of timelessness to it, but it also has a sense of warmth. And you walk that very fine line of a restaurant that's warm and inviting and very modern at the same time. And I think We've achieved that with some of the color tones and the natural elements that we put into the space, and that's really what we wanted. We wanted, like I spoke about before, is like bringing back the service quality, and something that Michael's talked about is having that guest experience from the moment they step out of the taxi or their car, or however they arrive to that destination, is showing them that we're so excited that you're here and exceeding every expectation that they have for us. Whether it's on a service level, whether it's on a wine list level, a food level, whatever it might be, just exceeding their expectation.
Yeah, it was one of the things that we told the designers when we were building the restaurant was, look, we want a really modern room, and we want it to have really clean lines, and we want it to be very progressive. We want it to be all those things. But if for 1 second someone walks in and feels intimidated, or feels like the maitre d' is looking at them like, ho, 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 you know what I mean? Or, oh my God, my glass is in the wrong place, or I dropped my spoon, I'm totally fucked. You know what I mean? It's like, if that happens ever, then we have completely failed you.
We lose.
Like, we've lost. We've totally lost.
You guys met through Avenues?
Correct.
Then you decided to strike out together. Obviously, you saw something in each other that complemented one another. And I've talked to you a little bit off stage, and you're both kind of intense guys in different ways. During this whole process, are there times when you just look at each other or yell at each other and say, calm the fuck down? Really?
I don't think he says that to me, but we're really, I think, I don't know. It sounds so cheesy, right? But we're pretty good opposites. We're a pretty good yin and yang. I talk a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes, he does.
You know, the other day when I showed up at the
swear a
restaurant,
lot.
I thought I shouldn't show up. I was wearing a baseball hat, and I took it off because I thought it would be inappropriate in a fine dining establishment. And then you're wearing a fucking Goonies T-shirt.
Yeah. With chunk on it.
Chunk,
it says
baby.
truffle
Yeah,
shuffle
chunk.
underneath.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Do you fight? Is it a friendship, or has it gone past the point where of no return for friendship?
I think for me it's been first and foremost about friendship. We met at Avenues 4.5 years ago, and you know, I've been in the business 20 plus years, and you meet a lot of people in the front of the house that you have to work with. You're forced to work with some on great levels, some on terrible levels. Michael, knowing probably the second weekend into taking over the restaurant, I knew immediately. I said, this guy would be the guy that would run my restaurant someday. I knew it. Whether it was 10 years from now, if it was the following week, I knew right away this is the guy that I want. There's no question about it.
Why? I mean, you talked about how he was a polar opposite in terms of talking a lot and being loud and joking and stuff, and you were definitely a much more internal guy.
Sure.
I mean, maybe that was what you needed?
Well, that's part of it, of course. The other part of it is the sense of detail that he has, the refinement that he brings to the table, the ability to teach and lead is very important in the front of the house. You know, it's being able to feel confident and be able to let go. Part of being a chef is you're very egotistical and you're very controlling, right?
Sure.
That's part of our nature.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is. But being able to let go of the front of the house and say, you know what, this is your world. I trust you 110%. Run with it. That's what that's what I believe in Michael.
Otherwise, they end up stressed out about what's going on out there
All the time.
and then they ask like ridiculously annoying questions. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get to that point where chef says, "Hey, what's the deal on 44?" And you look back and you go, "Chef, I got 44." And he goes, "Okay, I'm cool with that." Like, that's.
You've mentioned that in Grace there will be a enclosed window where Curtis will be working, and it's almost like he's
call
in
it the Orca Aquarium because you can watch it swim, but don't put your feet in the water. That shit gets a bit off.
Well, let's talk about the food. What's on the menu?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Dude,
Can you help me out?
Just you're not telling anybody what's on the menu. I need it for my career. Just give a few dishes.
Well, I can tell you it's not going to be shrimp.
Why?
I'm allergic.
And you also don't like green peppers, if I
You're
remember.
absolutely right.
God,
You got a great memory.
Yeah.
So,
give me one dish.
one dish.
Yeah.
Let's see. No.
Michael, give me.
Because he doesn't know yet.
It's just a burger
that's the great
joint.
thing.
Just admit it.
We don't know. We sat down last week, and part of this week we sat down with the team that I brought with from Avenues. which is my core people. These are the people that I rely on mostly.
Yeah.
I've hired.
You closed that place down.
20 chefs. I've hired 20 chefs to help run this kitchen, and these are my four main people that I rely on heavily for everything. And you know, they're somewhat of the part of the creative team, if you will. And we sat down and we started listing out ideas and techniques and ingredients that are coming into fall, that are coming out into something that we will use on the menu eventually, probably opening menu. And then once we open, we'll continue to change. But right now, you know, we start next week, full menu development. So we are sitting like 6 weeks out from opening, and we'll start working that out.
All right. Will there be chicken?
Possibly, yeah.
You'll be opening in the fall, but it'll be approaching the winter.
Right.
Is that a tough time to do seasonal
This is
cooking?
the worst time to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
Worst time, especially in Chicago.
Sure.
It's the worst
I
time.
mean, what are the ingredients? I can't.
You've got snow. You've got yellow snow.
Didn't Cantu had the over at?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah,
I'm sure he did.
Had a dish called yellow snow.
I'm sure he did. It very limits your ability to use product. If you're saying you're a seasonal restaurant, you try to play within the seasons, which we do. But you know, at those moments we have to reach south, we have to reach west, and garner ingredients from them. So,
talk about wine pairings. Are there times, Michael, when you say, "This is the wine for this dish," and people look at you like you're crazy?
Not often. I mean, I struggle with wine pairings, I have to be honest, because it kind of proves it puts forth that idea of like this wine with this dish, and that's right, and it's right because I decided that it was right. I don't necessarily always believe that. I don't necessarily always believe that wine should always pair with food, right? I mean, it just sometimes when you do a tasting menu and you're getting 12 different courses, you know, I still feel like at 38 years old doing this for as long as I have, drink what you want, and if you like it, then it's the right pairing for that particular dish.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, from the former gig that we had at the Peninsula Hotel, there was a restaurant, Shanghai Terrace, in there that served like spicy Peking duck like you would not believe. You watch people drink a Bialy and Turley Zinfandel, which in the food and wine world is like high alcohol, high tan, and red wines. Take whatever spicy and turn it up like 15 notches.
Okay.
And you're watching these businessmen going, "Yes, it's great." And I'm just like, "Oh shit!" Look out. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing about wine is that too many people, I feel, and I've probably included myself in this, have at some point pretended.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
But you should. I mean,
yeah, talk shit all day long. I think it's great. That's what wine people do. Like
there was
even
an article, you probably read it, in the New Yorker magazine.
Do you smell that? It's I can get that river, that anise, that this and this. Shut up.
All right.
Bam.
Do you remember there was a big wine fraud case, and there was a reviewer who was like, "This is the greatest wine in the world,"
Absolutely.
and then his reputation is ruined. So how do you get around that?
The astronomical pillars of our wine community, Jancis Robinson, Hugh Johnson, all these guys, right, that have written all these millions and millions of books about all these vintages of Bordeaux and Burgundy that go back to like the late 1800s, mid 1800s. It turns out that these tastings that they were going to were put on by this wacky German guy who was making fake wine and fake labels. And when that hit the wine community, everyone was like, I'm like, yeah, it didn't surprise me at all. Like it just, because they're all kind of faking it in a way. Look, you smell, like sometimes every once in a while you smell stuff and it unlocks something in your brain, you know. When you smell wine and taste wine every single day, you get really good at identifying what the flavor anchors are for particular varietals. And you kind of learn that connection, that Riesling always, or not always, but very often tends to act like this and smell like this. And Chardonnay from this particular place tends to act like this and smell like this. So from that sense, yeah, it's a very legitimate statement. You know, certain wines will go in that direction. But then, you know, older wines tend to get really wacky in the bottle, right? Wine's a cool thing. As it sits inside that bottle, it's not like in a time warp. It's aging. It's dying very, very slowly. And like all things, it begins to take on smells and aromatics of the dead. It's really kind of cool. It makes its way back down into the earth. I know, right? Am I too deep for you?
You're talking about how wine, I guess the word is ages, and through time it picks up things. On the other hand, your food is all about the freshest thing, the newest thing. Is there something powerful when those two things come together? That's good, huh?
That's deep. You do that one, Chef.
What did you say?
I have no. What's the address of the restaurant?
Yes, it is. But like, I got asked in an interview once. It's like, hey, they said, "How deep will your list be?" And when someone says, "How deep will it be?" they're asking how many old vintages you'll have on your list and stuff. And my answer to that was, a lot of times these wines that are making their way back down into the earth, they don't necessarily pair very well with a guy who literally kills himself to get the freshest of microgreens from that Native American in Washington State.
Sure.
So no, they don't always work. But wine softens as it comes around, and his food, Curtis's food, is very, very delicate. I think it's very cerebral, and everything's there for a purpose. And sometimes when a wine has gone around the block a few times, it chills out a little bit, and some of those harsher, denser, syrupy, rich, ripe, cooked fruit things kind of calm down, and they do really well. And then sometimes they just smell like poop.
Curtis, what are some of the dishes on the menu at Grace? What do you guys do when you want to get away from food, talking about food? What do you, I know you're both. Are you both motorcycle riders?
We are, yeah.
Do you ever go off together? Do you ever say we need to journey? No, I didn't mean it that way. Do we ever journey off into the desert or to Joliet and just
all the time?
Yeah, and
all the time. Actually, we do.
We'll sometimes just jump on the bike and just go out to like Utica, you know what I mean, and like just on the river, and just literally just sit there and skip rocks like 9-year-olds. Like it's cool. The best part about riding motorcycles with somebody is that you're not talking to them. Exactly. You're just looking out for them.
Can you get one of those headsets where you talk to the person?
Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
Are you guys you don't seem like the kind of guys who would be, but is there a part of you that is scared of what's going to happen, of what could happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Very scared. I wake up every morning scared. And I think if you don't have that gut feeling of being scared or anxious about something, you're not doing the right thing.